now been joined by Richard Allen, Director of All British Precision, who supply component parts to Dennis for the G860 mower. Richard's going to show us around the place, meet some of the people behind the manufacturing and some of the processes. So shall we go and have a look, Richard?
Yeah, let's go.
Great. So Richard, can you tell us a bit about the people that are behind the manufacturing here? So for instance, how many staff have you got?
Yeah, we've got 10 people here. We've got Vicky that runs the office, she's front of house, handles the telephones, the sales orders, the purchasing. We've got 7 great machinists, real top-notch guys that operate the most state-of-the-art equipment. We've got Ray, who's been with us for many years. He does the fitting, bending and rolling of sheet metal. And finally, we've just taken on 2 apprentices to start to fill some of the skills gaps that we've got.
Richard's now brought us to the inspection room, which is the hub and the nerve centre of the quality control side of the business here. So Richard, can you tell us a bit about how you make sure the mowers that leave the Dennis factory are up to the rigours of the market?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of it's about standardisation and standard working practices. And to do that, last year we took the decision to attain our ISO 9001 accreditation, which demonstrates that we do comply to industry standard in our inspection, calibration, goods receiving, stock control, purchasing, sales. Everything's documented in a quality manual which everyone adheres to, and it just gives everyone a level playing field. We get audited externally to ensure that we comply with what we say we're doing, and it demonstrates to the whole market that we attain that accreditation. On top of that, we've got some state-of-the-art equipment out there. To utilise those to the best efficiency, we need some good inspection gear as well, and that's what this inspection room's all about. We've got a CMM behind us which measures accuracies up to 3 microns. All the components get checked as they go through the production and signed off by the inspector.
So Richard, a manufacturing operation like this takes constant investment and pretty big investment. I understand you've made an investment fairly recently in machinery like this.
Yeah, absolutely. In the last 2 years we've invested £1.2 million worth of kit into All British Precision. That's bought us 5 machines tools. We bought 3 of the latest sliding head machines from Star GB that are located just down the road. Those machines are fantastic, from 9-axis up to 12-axis turn mill machines, which means we can automate production. We can utilise the hours that we're not here through lights out production. They take a part, a spar, feed it in through, it comes out as a finished component ready to be dispatched, which almost eliminates manual handling. They're very accurate machines. They'll hold accuracies of less than 10 microns. In addition to that, we've lately invested in the DMG Morisiki machines, which we can see behind us. This is probably one of their flagship machines utilised by the F1 teams, such as Red Bull. These are much the same as the sliders. It's very automated, multi-axis turn mill machining. A component like that, to do in a traditional way, we'd have to do in multi-setups on multiple machines with multiple people. With that, we stick a billet in this end, and it comes out as a finished part that end. That's it straight off the machine, so you can see that's not touched by human hands. That gives us greater accuracy, repeatability, and much more efficient way of manufacturing.
Richard, another important area of investment for any business is training. I understand that's an area you're particularly passionate about. Can you give us a bit more on that?
Yeah, absolutely. We take our training very seriously. We've invested, as we just said, a lot of money in the equipment, and we need the best engineers to run that equipment. The new gear is very complicated to use. It's not rocket science, but it's getting pretty damn close. So all the engineers have gone on some extensive training courses with the companies that supply the kit. We also recognise there's a skills shortage in the UK for good engineers, so now we've approached Derby College, and we're now embarking on an apprentice training scheme. 2 months ago we started our first trainees on the job, and they're doing great, and they're going to be our future engineers. We're very proud of them. Our passion is to put the great back into British manufacture, making our engineers the respected profession that they deserve.
That's a sentiment we all agree with, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, Richard, we've had a really good look around the place, and thank you for that. I guess an appropriate thing to perhaps finish on is any business is only as good as its people. We've obviously got some key individuals. I understand you're also looking perhaps to attract more people to the business. Can you tell us a bit about what you're doing there?
Yes, we are looking to recruit more engineers. It is difficult to find good engineers, as I say. That's why we've undertook the apprentice scheme. But we are looking at a grant with Derbyshire Enterprise Growth Scheme for a further investment in the company, some further investment in similar machine tools, which will require an extra 10 people for the company. We'll be looking to put on a second shift and double our turnover effectively.
So all that investment in machinery still needs skilled labour to look after it.
Absolutely.
And I understand you've had a number of employees that have been with you for some time.
Yeah, I mean, we've got Ray, a local character. He's been with the company 40 years now. He's not been in another role. I don't think he's been here man and boy. We've got a whole range of local employees ranging from 17 years old now up to 64. We cover every spectrum.
So a great British business with great people from the local region.
Absolutely.
Roger, getting a mower to a World Cup in Brazil, a long way away from here in Derbyshire. What actually goes into getting to that stage?
And it's not an easy thing to do, to supply all those mowers halfway across the world. One of the key things that we needed to sort out pretty urgently was to find the right partner over in Brazil. A couple of my colleagues, Toby Clark and Ewan Wilson, made a numerous amount of trips over there with one of the specific aims, amongst others, was to find the right partner. We settled and worked very closely with a company called GreenNext, which were based out in Sao Paulo, which was home to the venue there was home to the opening game, and also to a number of other group games, quarterfinals and semi-finals. And we struck up a very good working relationship with them. We also worked very closely with three key local contractors, and those three local contractors were looking after all 12 main stadia. And the partnership that we had with all three contractors and the dealership is very, very important, because that ensures that the machines are used in the correct way, they have the correct backup, the people are trained in the correct way, and hence therefore the pitches look how they should look for a World Cup.
Just one question I wouldn't mind asking is 12 different venues.
Yeah.
Were they all uniform in terms of the surface? Was there any adjustments that needed to be made to the machinery?
They were all pretty uniformed. There are different grass species that was used in Sao Paulo compared to the other venues. Along with the 34-inch G860 machine, we supplied everyone with an 8-blade and everyone with a tungsten-tipped vertical cassette. So it's pretty much the same setup in terms of machinery as what we have in South Africa 4 years earlier, and is what is used at numerous other venues around the UK and the world. But in terms of trying to uniform them, then yes, everybody was trained the same way. All the specifics to meet the requirements of the pitches were all the same, and I think everybody agreed that they all played extremely well and they all looked great as well.
Just to explore the training side of things a little bit more, what did that involve? Did you send people out?
As mentioned previously, a couple of my colleagues, Toby Clark and Ewan Wilson, have been out there on numerous visits, and the part of the training there is they trained the dealer, which was GreenNext, on actually how to maintain the machine, and also what kind of spare parts that they needed to carry in case of emergencies, because emergencies do happen from time to time. So there was the training aspect with the dealership in terms of being able to maintain and service the machines. There was then the training element that the guys did with the actual contractors themselves on how to get the best out of the machines, so that they actually met the criteria that had been set for them in terms of the performance and standards of the pitch themselves. So we were quite fortunate that we were able to put a lot of time, a lot of emphasis in there, and yes, there's a number of trips out there, but it was very well received. Toby and Ewan have got a wealth of knowledge on the machinery, and everything went down very, very well. And it's a key element of any tournament that we do there, is that support aspect. That we like to make sure that we give everybody as much support as possible, and the after-sale support is just as important.
A big part of any global sporting event these days is the legacy that it leaves. What's the legacy from Brazil, and what part of Dennis played in that?
The legacy from Brazil is that basically all the 12 stadia had to commit to a 5-year plan where they would ensure the maintenance of the pitches themselves were exactly the same following the World Cup as what they were during the World Cup. And that's basically the legacy that every stadia had to commit to. Our machines are obviously out there. Our connection with the dealership and the contractors is still extremely strong, and we will continue to support those with after-sales care service all the time while those machines are out there and that legacy continues.
We've had a great day here with Dennis, finding out what it takes to get a mower to a World Cup. Hopefully you found it as interesting as I have, and you'll find more interesting things on Turf TV at turfbusiness.co.uk.